got 60 more left. 30 now.
I'm out.
I'm on 30 now.
They
Oh,
gone.
I'm not dead, nigga. They gone.